reporting on a 6-month profile of its records so far. Let's talk about this further, bring in the professor that we often have on the program to do with issues that are related to energy generation. That's Professor Sampson Mamphweli. Speaking to us, I believe, Prof, from Cape Town. I don't know if you've relocated with it being holiday season. So as Gopano was outlining there, that Eskom in the 6 months to September made a profit of 9.2 billion, interim profit. It is expecting by March to make a loss of just as much. So is there really reason to be pleased?
Good evening, Tembekile and the viewers. I'm here at Stellenbosch in my office. I'm smiling looking at these results. We haven't seen something like this in a very long time. And if I look at where the losses are, you look at unplanned maintenance, for instance, where they have lost up to 2.1 billion rands. So you can imagine if they didn't have those unplanned maintenance, the results could be looking even much better. They have ticked all the boxes. They are performing quite very well for the first time in a very long time. Now, the biggest challenge that Eskom still faces is the aging infrastructure, the aging power stations. If you look at the application that has been declined by the Department of Environmental Affairs, that has got to do with the emissions standards and all that. It boils down mainly to the low quality coal, as well as the aging infrastructure that needs to be decommissioned. Now, they're sitting in kind of a quagmire because they need to fix that. Otherwise, there's no other way they are going to get fines on a quarterly basis whenever they report to the department in terms of their emissions. Yes, they are talking to the various departments, but in terms of the law, you can't say I'm operating while I'm talking. You will have to comply, otherwise you receive a fine. But other than that, I'm quite happy with Eskom's performance. I'm happy with their cost containment measures. They seem to be working. I'm happy also with the fact that they're having quite a lot of sales as opposed to in the previous financial year and in the previous years. Mm-hmm. The other biggest concern for me is the debt by the municipalities. You can imagine how this result would have looked if the municipalities were covering for their debts. And I think it's high time that government, instead of providing bailouts for Eskom, they also start to look at what can we do to ensure that our municipalities are not part of the problem. Mm. Some of the issues that have got to do with the current result is the debt that has been that Eskom has not been able to contain. And if you look at the current results, it shows you that Eskom is working somewhat towards containment of that debt. I'm happy also with the progress made with removing transmission to make it an independent kind of a company. There's quite a lot of positives, I might say, and I'm generally happy with the results.
Just on the issue of debt, there's been the unfolding situation to do with Soweto. In the last 2 weeks or so, we've been covering here on Newzroom Afrika protests in the Deep Cliff area. Eskom is saying to the people there, you need to pay about 6,000 rand to be reconnected because there were illegal connections to the grid, mounting debt as well. Today, our Linda Mnisi, our reporter, was speaking to community members who say they are only at this stage able to pay a couple of R100. Does a middle ground exist?
Yeah, well, the middle ground does exist. I mean, if you look at these results improving like this, I would really call for government intervention, especially with the people who are unable to service historic debt at individual household level. Because if you go deep down, you'll find that it's really people who are not able to pay. But over and above that, I wouldn't encourage anyone to be involved in illegal activities such as illegal connection of electricity. We've conducted studies in the past that indicated that such kind of conduct can take up to 400 to 500 megawatts of the grid without Eskom, getting any revenue out of that. And that's an equivalent of a unit in a power station or some of the power stations that we have in the country. So I would encourage people to really pay. I would like to think that the middle ground could be that government should come in and try and assist the poor and those who cannot afford, so that they can at least start somewhere instead of starting at the 6,000 Rand or a 10,000 Rand connection fee.
And there was some focus today on unbundling. Eskom is supposed to be broken up into three because that, according to the Public Enterprises Department and the entity itself, would take it closer to a sustainability, especially financially and as far as generation. Did you get a sense today that we're moving any closer?
Yes, I see they've made quite tremendous progress on that, especially with the unbundling of the transmission side of things. And they've indicated in the report that by 2022, transmission will be operating as an independent company. They already have an interim kind of interim directors in the company. So that process is now kicking in quite well. I was concerned that that process was taking a bit longer, and there were some who were opposed to the process because they think that that is a road towards a full privatization of Eskom, which is not. I think that is going to make matters much easier going forward for Eskom, because if transmission is operating quite independent and buying from various independent power producers, that is going to bring down the cost of electricity, because it will then introduce competition. So that is good for the country, it's good for the consumers, it's good also for the poor, because we won't be having these double digits electricity price increases. As we speak now, we're sitting with an Eskom application of up to 20% tariff increase for 2023, which will then kick in around 1st of April 2022 and July 2022 for customers that are directly supplied by Eskom and those that are supplied by the municipalities respectively. So if that is granted, that is going to have a huge impact on the pockets of mainly the poor, because the industry will just transfer that cost to the consumers, and the cost of goods will go quite high. So I think overall, the Department of Public Enterprises and Eskom under the current leadership, they are doing quite well in my view. If I look at the current results that they've released.
Professor Sampson Mamphweli, always great to speak to you. Thank you so much for being on News at Prime tonight.